As we continue our advocacy journey on Invisible Tears, we want to make sure and highlight that we are a victim-focused podcast. We are a voice for the voiceless. Given current events happening in New England, though, media and newspapers are really focusing on the amount of bodies being found in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and even Maine. Given that Jane is a survivor of a serial killer who has never been caught, and one who hunted victims in New Hampshire and Vermont throughout the 70s and 80s, she's contacted regularly for her input and opinion about what is currently happening. On this episode, we give an update on what we know about these cases and help to give a bit of clarification because some of the headlines are a bit misleading.
Welcome to Invisible Tears. I'm here with my co-host Amanda today. We don't have Drew today. He's busy.
Yep, he's busy processing a storage unit, sorry.
Oh, yeah. So he's working.
Yep.
So how are you today, Amanda?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Jane?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I'm doing great. I just got done doing the Chaz and AJ morning show this morning and had great conversation with them. And so obviously we talked about the 13th body that was found down in Massachusetts. Social media is still going strong with serial killer. There's a serial killer down there.
Yes, every media headline that I read, it says serial killer. Yes.
And yeah, and you know, in a way, I'm kind of glad that media is covering it. Every time a body has been found, they've been covering the story, which is great because we cannot allow, we can't let law enforcement think that we're forgetting about all these cases. They're important to be solved. And the only way they're going to get them solved is if we keep talking about them. And maybe people will come forward with info. So what we're going to do is let's start off by talking about what has happened in the past couple of months. So in April, the remains of 6 people were found in towns close to one another in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Some of the victims included Paige Fannin, 35, who was found in the Norwalk River on March 6th. Denise Leary, 59, she was found in New Haven, Connecticut on March 21st. Michelle Romano, 56, she was found 5 days later, according to police. And then we do have others that I want to talk about. So 13 in all, but let's clarify some things. There have been some that have been solved.
Yes.
Or person of interest or persons, suspects have been arrested. So there have been a few that have been solved. Stephen Myers, he was shot to death by David Jones. They solved that one. Jasmine Wilkes was found with no signs of trauma in a park. Now, I'm not sure if that one was solved or not. That was put in an article. Suzanne Wormser, she was hit in the head and dismembered by David Koffel, which he admitted to the crime. And he also, what did he kill himself or suicide in jail?
I'm not sure of those details. All I keep on reading is that he died while in custody. So,
okay.
Yep.
So, we do know that those were some solved cases. So, I've been asked so many times, is there a serial killer? And, my honest answer is, I don't know all the details to these cases. None of us really do, because they're not sharing a whole lot of information.
Mhm.
I tend to steer towards the fact that maybe a few of them are connected.
Right.
And, the definition of a serial killer is killing two or more people.
Mhm.
So I would tend to say not all are connected. Obviously, some were solved, but I do believe there are a few that are suspicious
Mhm.
with a serial killer activity.
Right. Yep. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but again, a lot of social media is like, oh, there's no connection, there's no
Mhm.
commonality. Well, we don't know that because the authorities have not shared a whole lot of information.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. I think, my opinion is I believe law enforcement should really utilize the media a little bit more.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, it's a known fact. Most cases are solved by legitimate tips that have come in with legitimate information.
Yeah.
And if people like get a profiler in there
Right.
and profile this monster, get the profile out through media, and sometimes that jogs the memory in someone to say, you know what, I think I know this person.
Mhm.
I think they just described my neighbor. They just described my, a coworker or something. And then that person comes forward with information, and the likelihood of the case or cases being solved are better. Um, but for some reason, law enforcement, and I get that they want to keep information under wrap for the integrity of their case, especially when it comes to doing the prosecution.
Mhm.
But you have to solve a case. You have to have a person of interest or a suspect to prosecute. So the way you do that is to have tips come in, investigate tips, but you have to give more information for people to go on to jog their memory to say, oh, I remember seeing this, or I remember seeing that, or I know this person, or that describes this, or it's they've got to start releasing some information. Some of the cases they're not even releasing uh, manner of death.
Right.
There are some that aren't even identified,
Right.
and they're not even asking the public's help to help
Help
identify these bodies they are finding.
Right.
Why not? One of the main things they have to do is identify a body to solve a case. I mean,
Yep.
am I wrong?
No.
Um, so yeah, I'm really I wish that they would release more information. They don't have to release everything, but they could at least release some information that would possibly identify this monster or monsters going around
Yep.
killing.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. I agree. I I wish that they could find a little bit of a better balance between keeping the integrity of their investigations good, but also being a little bit more transparent with what they can. I also want to note too, before we get too far away from the conversation of because all the headlines are just basically tallying up the numbers, the number of bodies that are collecting. That Michelle Romano, who you mentioned, her family has been very public about asking that she be removed from the conversation of the serial killer. So her Michelle Romano's investigation is ongoing. The family is very much kept in the loop and kept aware. They have a very good working relationship with law enforcement. So anybody in talking about the potential of linking cases and that sort of thing, should actually know that Michelle Romano's family doesn't want to be included in that conversation too. So I wanted to make sure and call that out as well while we were talking about
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, because they definitely have a person of interest in that case, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that they are definitely investigating that right now, actively, very active.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
so while it's great that the media is covering, people that are being discovered, just be cognizant about the number that is being
yeah,
publicized, essentially. I mean, I guess technically that number is correct, but when they add the serial killer into the headline to, sort of like clickbait, just be mindful that some of the cases that they are listing have already either been solved, already have a person of interest, shouldn't necessarily be included within the that type of conversation. It's really just a headline.
exactly. And see, perfect example. If they were more open and transparent with information, um, you know, that would help them so much.
It really would.
It would stop a lot of the rumors,
Hmm.
um, and really focus on the ones that could be connected, or
Right.
focus on the ones that are still unsolved. It baffles me that they still haven't identified some of the bodies. I think there's two that they
Mhm.
haven't identified yet, which just blows my mind
Yeah.
because you don't hear anything about it. They don't talk about them at all.
Yeah. That is heartbreaking.
Really? I mean, somebody out there, that's someone's loved one.
Mhm.
Somebody is missing that person, and somebody, there's a family out there that deserves to know that their loved one has passed, and are able to receive the body and give it a proper send off.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of sad on that perspective that they're not releasing much information on that.
Yeah.
But so again, I do feel that, unfortunately and sadly, I do feel that they are going to find more bodies.
Mhm.
There's just from last summer, you can go online and there is an enormous amount of missing people,
Yeah.
reported missing people. It's astounding and it's scary. I do want to emphasize, we are not trying to fear mongle
Oh,
people.
absolutely not at all.
Um, Not at all. Oh, we just want people to be more vigilant, a little bit more aware of your surroundings. I've said
Absolutely.
this before, buddy system. Let somebody know where you are at all times.
Mhm.
Uh, Stay connected. Um, that's just so, so important.
Mhm.
But when we don't mean to fear mongo, but I am contacted quite a bit and asked quite a bit, you
Mhm.
know, do I think there's a serial killer around? And there's my opinion. I just
Mhm.
shared my opinion. I don't know, not
Mhm.
enough information, but I do believe there's a few that are connected.
Yeah.
Um, I can't not say I don't think there isn't. That I definitely think there are a few connected.
I
Um, Again, we want to still emphasize that we are victim focused. We are a victim focused podcast,
Yep.
and we will always be a victim focused podcast,
Yes.
a voice for the voiceless.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. And now back to our episode.
So the last one that was found, she was found on June 1st.
Mhm.
Um, she was 21 years old, Adriana Suazo. She was discovered in a wooded area in Milton, Massachusetts, and that's about 8 miles south of Boston.
Mhm.
Now, of everything I read, I guess she is from Boston.
Mhm.
Her family shared the heartbreaking detail that she had no ties to the area of Milton,
Hmm.
and she had to be brought there to be dumped. She was discovered Sunday, June 1st, and officials report there were no obvious signs of trauma.
Yeah, the chief medical examiner said that.
Okay, so she's 21 years old, healthy. All the pictures I've seen of her looked healthy. She was active, um, young, she's beautiful. Um, but she just was, she went to Milton, went in the woods, and decided to die. Really? I just can't buy that.
Yeah,
I
that's
just can't. I mean, she obviously, I don't know why they're not sharing, but they're saying there was no signs of trauma. So what was her manner of death?
right. Right, exactly. And I think her family so far has been pretty open about it. They just want to know the truth, right? They just want
Yes.
to know the truth about what happened to her. She had no ties to that area. It was clear that she was either with someone when she passed or before. Like, how did she get there? And obviously, they're calling it suspicious.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
what happened to her?
Yeah. What happened to her?
Hmm.
Again, no transparency, no manner of death. So, of course, social media is going to go crazy with serial killer,
Right.
which, we don't know if she's connected with any of the other cases because they're not giving manner of death.
Right.
Um, they did say it's suspicious, so I'm going to rule out suicide
Mhm.
because did they say it was suspicious?
The family saying it's suspicious. I
Okay.
haven't seen anything put out by law enforcement saying anything about it being suspicious. The only thing that I'm reading now, and this is an article from the New York Post that I'm skimming through right now. Police and local prosecutors basically are dismissing the whole, serial killer theme, especially in talking about all of the cases that we're actually talking about right now. They're saying that they're investigating everything individually, and there's a lack of linking forensics. So I get that, and that's actually a pretty good comment to put out. You should be investigating everything individually. So I'm surprised they actually said a lack of linking forensics because that is an actual detail. But they're not saying anything about this specific death actually being suspicious. The only thing they put out was what the medical examiner said.
So I'm going to go by what the family says. So her family is finding it suspicious because she was found one in Milton, which she's not familiar with the area,
Mhm.
and two, she was found in the woods.
Right.
So I would have to rule out drug overdose and suicide.
Mm.
So to me, that would make her death highly suspicious.
Mhm. Yes,
Highly suspicious.
I agree.
Yeah. So sad. She was only 21.
I know.
Yeah. And she
Yeah.
was a foster child. She had a foster family that cared about her very much. It's actually her foster family that are actually the ones that have been very outspoken about what had happened to her or about her death.
Mhm.
Um, her sister wrote something that really describes who she was, which I absolutely love. She she sounded like quite the 21-year-old, very typical 21-year-old.
Mhm.
Um, her sister Mel wrote, Adriana wasn't just my sister. She was a firecracker, full of life, laughter, and fierce love. She was rambunctious, bold, and had a personality that could light up any room. If you knew Adriana, you know she didn't play around about her family. She was headstrong. Yes. I love that. She was headstrong. Uh, but more than anything, she was loyal, ride or die, no matter what. She loved hard, laughed loud, and made sure people around her felt it. So sad. Her life was cut so short.
I know.
Uh, so yeah, I love what her sister wrote about her.
Me too.
Really, really an in-depth description of who she was. Again, we're a podcast that are victim focused,
Hmm.
and I hope they find the monster that did this to her. The family has also been pretty outspoken, where they just want answers and want to know who did this to her and want to see justice. And I'm sure that all the families of all of those that have been found lately want the same. They want answers and they want to see justice.
Yes.
That's not asking much. That they deserve that. They deserve that. And you know, uh, my case is over 36 years old, still unsolved. And I know the agony of not knowing, not having answers, and not seeing justice year after year after year. And it's hard. Um, some years you try to not think about it. Other years you're like, Jesus, I just want to know who did this to me and I want to see justice.
Right.
Um, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I totally feel for these families. Um, and hopefully, as these cases are being investigated, I hope that they start solving some of them, and these families start finding answers and seeing justice.
Yeah. I know you do. Yeah. Which actually, something just popped into my head, Jane, so many with so many outlets that have come out of the woodwork and have specifically come to you, started asking you your opinion about what's happening. How does that make you feel? Like when you were first approached about what your opinion was about what was happening, what went through your head?
First I was like, wow, you're asking me for my opinion? Like,
Yeah.
I I'm a survivor. I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
um, I'm not an investigator. Um, so it was kind of weird at first, but then after talking to a few um, and doing a few of the interviews, I kind of got it. I
Yeah.
understood then why they were asking me.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I guess my true opinion is, if they're asking me, they're talking about these cases. I have an opportunity to talk about mine and the Connecticut River cases and get more information out there so
Mhm.
people can come forward. Because I am a true believer. The more you talk about unsolved cases, the better the chance of them being solved.
Right.
I just can't express that enough. I just feel that so much. Um, you know, if you know something, say something.
Right.
And somebody always knows something. People say, "Oh, it's just not important information." It is important information. No matter how little it is important information. You might suspect somebody. I mean, maybe your information doesn't pan out. You don't know that until you give the information to the authorities and let them investigate it.
Yeah.
You may not think it's important, but it could be that one. They could have this whole case put together, but missing that one little puzzle piece. That one little puzzle piece could solve a whole case, and you could have that puzzle piece and not even know it. And if you come forward, and then that is that one piece to say, okay, we just solved this case. This makes sense now. We have
Mhm.
everything we need. You know, but you don't realize it people, a lot of people just feel like, oh, the information I have isn't important or whatever. It is important. No matter what you have, it is important. You may have seen something, heard something, overheard something. You may have heard something in conversation that didn't make, that jarred your memory and said, oh, that's suspicious. You hear something, see something, say something,
Mm-hmm.
because you just never know.
Yeah.
Somebody out there knows something, always, always. And so having people come to me and say, oh, do you think there's a serial killer?
Mhm.
Yes, I'm doing those interviews to maybe express my opinion, but I have a bigger agenda above that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love that they're still talking about these cases.
Right.
Every time they find another one, they are talking about these cases, because that way, they have to investigate them. They can't brush them off, and tips will start coming in.
Right.
Somebody knows something. So I absolutely love, I mean, Chaz and AJ, contacted me late last night, and wanted me to be on the show at 7 o'clock this morning. And you know what? I couldn't even turn that down. I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, and I went right on and I started reading about Adriana, which broke my heart, brought tears to my eyes. And it's like, yeah, we keep talking about another body found, another body found, another body found. It hits me right here. It's just like, it's almost like a trigger.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, another one. And my thoughts immediately go to the families.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so heart-wrenching. So heart-wrenching. Hopefully these families will start seeing justice.
Yes, absolutely.
So we will continue to keep talking about these cases, keep talking about what's happening down in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts. There was also a body found in Maine that I heard.
I saw that actually in one of the articles too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it seems like it's west or east
Mm-hmm.
and up and down the border.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Rhode Island, which I've been corrected several times. It's Western Rhode Island that all this is happening in. So yeah, we're going to continue to cover this.
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking about them. The more we can find out about some of the victims, we're going to start talking about them more. I keep seeing online, people talking about, oh, another body, another body, another body. Let's remind ourselves. Let's remind ourselves that every single victim that is found is a mother or a father or a brother or a sister or a cousin or a son or a daughter or a best friend to somebody.
Yeah,
Let's not forget who they are. And they meant something to somebody. So
absolutely.
let's not forget about that. So thank you for tuning in to Invisible Tears. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page. We have put in a lot more content on there. And with that, stay safe and have a good one. Until next time.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Invisible Tears. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast to hear all future episodes. Click into our link tree too in the episode description to find and follow us on all our social medias. And it also links to our website, invisible-tears.com, where you can keep current on any events that may be coming up, read more about Jane and the team, and read more about all the Connecticut River Valley unsolved cases. Evil may exist in this world, but we will not let it win. See you next episode.